is Dustin from TDG. I'm out here in Yellowstone National Park. I am actually in Mammoth Hot Springs, the old Fort Yellowstone, which the Army built, because of course the Army was in charge of Yellowstone National Park before there was a National Park Service. So these are all the old historic fort buildings, which are really, really cool. And just behind me here, Mammoth Hot Springs, the actual hot spring terraces, they're kind of off that direction, kind of behind the house. You can see the hotel back there, the Mammoth Hotel. And then there's the mountain. You can kind of see the mountain back there. It's snow-covered. It's Sepulchre Mountain back there. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about this morning. So the snow up here is pretty incredible. It's super, super wet in Yellowstone National Park right now, which is pretty normal for the spring, right? We're at the end of May. Things are pretty wet. That's normal. It's even a little bit wetter than usual, though. Snowpack up here in most of Montana and Wyoming has been about 150% of normal. So there's a lot of snowmelt right now. A couple of people have compared it to 2011. I don't know if anybody remembers the flooding that happened in 2011. There was a lot of water up here in Montana, but then of course it all went downstream. And in South Dakota and North Dakota, there was quite a bit of flooding along the Missouri River Valley because that's where all that water ends up. And then even further south, all that water ended up in the Mississippi Valley and down into those states. And it was kind of a crazy, crazy year because of all the snowpack up here primarily. And it's not quite like that. There's certainly a lot of water this year. It's not quite as bad as 2011, partly because it's been a little bit warmer. So we were up here about this time of year in 2011, and there was crazy, crazy amounts of snow everywhere. We went out into the Hayden Valley, and there was snow like 10 feet high on the sides of the roads. And there was more snow coming down. And obviously it's much warmer than that now, which is great, but it has definitely been wet. And it is pretty wet. And that's what I wanted to talk about this morning. So if you've been watching our videos, I've been talking a lot about the shoulder season lately. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So we're still in the shoulder season, despite the tourists behind me. This is actually kind of a slow day. It's been way busier. We've been here for about a week, or about half a week at this point. But it's been way, way busier, so it's a little bit slower today. But it's still the shoulder season, and there's some good content opportunities, right? So things are, they're wet right now. If you are a destination, a CVB, or a hospitality business, a lodge or a hotel, you can use this as an opportunity to create some content and send it out to your guests. You can tell them things are a little bit wet right now. And it's not just here in Montana and Wyoming, around Yellowstone, of course, but lots of parts of the country are fairly wet in the shoulder season in the spring. It's good to let your guests know about that and what that means for their trip for 4 reasons. There are 4 primary reasons you want to do that. Number 1, you're providing them with some content that's valuable, right? You're giving them some practical tips about their trip. You're letting them know, hey, when you come out, we've noticed that you're coming out in May, June. When you come out, things are going to be kind of wet. If you want to go hiking, you probably want to bring some waterproof boots. Maybe you want a poncho because there's going to be some extra rain. These are some practical things you might want to pack in your day pack if you're going to go out hiking, or if you're a photographer and you're going to go out and do some photo shoots and that kind of a thing. That's pretty cool. That's practical information. And you can email that out to them. You can use it for social. All of those platforms are perfectly good ways of getting that content to those people. So that's number 1. Number 2, which is related, is you're making them feel special, right? Especially if you use an email and you send out a tailored email, a customized email. You can personalize it to them. Say, hey, Joey, we noticed that you're coming out May 26th to stay with us. That's super great. We're looking forward to having you. Just wanted to let you know, here's what's going to be happening. That's pretty special, giving them a customized email before they come out and telling them what conditions are going to be like. That's super, super useful. They feel like they're a special guest when you do something like that. Third reason, again, also related, is your, let's see, we talked about valuable, right, and special, yes. So valuable, special, practical. I'm doing this without notes, right? So I'm relying on my mind, which is not always good. So you're making them feel special. You're giving them practical tips, which is always useful. So it is related to valuable, but practical is something actionable. They can do something with that, right? This is something that, especially if you're, again, sending out an email, they'll be able to use that information to plan their trip. And if it's practical, they'll read it if they feel like they're getting some value out of it. And that's really, really important, because if it's just content, if they don't see the value in it, they're just going to skip past that email or that social media post, whatever it is. So having something that has some values and practicality to it is pretty important. And then the last reason is it's a good excuse for some content, right? You're always, always, always wanting new content up on your blog and your social media feeds and so on, for a lot of different reasons. For discovery, for sure, social media search engine optimization purposes. People will type in search terms, and if you've got that content on your website, they'll find you. So that's useful stuff, and that'll benefit your website for years to come. So just having regular content is super, super important, and this is a reason. This gives you some material to work with. It's also important for social media, for engagement purposes. You want people to interact and to come back to your social media feeds and your website on a fairly regular basis. This gives them fresh material that's pretty important for that. So those are the 4 reasons. So it may not necessarily directly benefit new business, like the last shoulder season video I did. That was primarily talking about ways to entice visitors to come out in the shoulder season. This is more, you have existing visitors during the shoulder season. You know they're coming out. How can you treat them well? What kind of content can you provide to them that's going to impress them, engage them, make them feel a little bit special, and make them have a good experience? Oh, I remember, I messed up my numbers. I knew practical and valuable were basically the same thing. There was something else. There was another reason. What was it? I just had it. It was, I lost it. That's the problem with doing live videos when you don't have your notes. So we'll do a regular video on this later rather than a live video. So you can take a look at that when we get it posted, and maybe I'll remember the 4th reason. Also, I just did this video on Facebook, so if you go over to our Facebook page and watch the live video, I actually did it right in that video. I actually did all 4 correctly, in order. It was beautiful. It was great. So you can go and watch that one too, and maybe later I'll remember what the other one was. So thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful for your business, if you have a hospitality business or a CBB, DMO of some kind. And if you're just a random schmo who's going to come out to Yellowstone sometime in the shoulder season, now you know that it's really, really wet. And if you're going to come out here, make sure you've got like some waterproof boots or something. Cheers. See you later.